running is hard. I don't like it. It is gruesome. My joints hurt. I'm sweating. I'm grinding. But boy, when I finish, oh God, I'm like, yes, I conquered that.
Yep.
What else is there for me to conquer today? What
Right.
else? I'm ready.
Let's learn how our next guest gets up, dress up, and show up on purpose. Enjoy the episode. Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Looney Lewis, and today I have the honor of introducing a very special guest to the show. Today, I want to bring on Jarvis Leverson. He is an accountability coach at the Morning Hero. He specializes in helping business owners and entrepreneurs implement high performance habits that dramatically boost their productivity, and as a result, they have greater success in their business as well as in their personal lives. This is going to be exciting because that's what morning routine is all about. And so it's nice to have another expert on the show to kind of bounce ideas off and hear some more insight. So I'm looking forward to our talk. But Jarvis has been at this for a couple of years actually. So he has facilitated over 1,000 live workshops, seminars, and groups events showing people systems and hacks to be more efficient with their time so they can better serve their mission. So he prides himself on being so dialed in that he can finish work every day by 1 p.m. so he can spend every afternoon on the beach with his 2-year-old son. He believes that everyone should have the same freedom, and he is obsessed. I'm telling you, obsessed with helping them achieve this. So, with no further ado, it is an honor, my friend, to have you on the show. Jarvis, welcome on.
Wow. Who is that guy? Can I meet him?
So nice. So nice to have you on the show, Jarvis. I mean, you and I go way back before we were both entrepreneurs. We
Yeah.
hanging out in the streets of San Diego. We're both from here, and we met here through mutual
Yep.
friends, and have been. It's really interesting to see the progression and to see the evolvement of our lives. But let's talk about your journey. Right? Tell the audience a little bit about you and how you got here.
Yeah, it's a very, very deep, deep journey. But it started kind of like where you just from the place where you were just talking from,
Mhm.
our past life. We kind of met in the social scene, in the social circles of San Diego. And it's right around that time.
Yeah.
I call those, the lost years. So between ages of 30 and 35, like before that, I consider myself a, pretty average, a little above average high achiever.
Hmm.
I had a really good corporate job. I was doing sales for a technology company, and I was, president's club, and I had, you know, goals, and I was making progress. And then I hit a point in my life where I took my foot off the gas. I got complacent. Life was good. Life was easy. And I just got real, I wasn't aggressive after pursuing anything anymore. And my priorities shifted to just hanging out and partying all the time.
Hmm.
And, I got comfortable and just started coasting into life. And then I would say for 5 years, I made absolutely no progress as a person. Um, and one day I woke up and I was like, I'm the same exact person I was 5 years ago. Like nothing about me has changed. Like my income had stopped growing. There was no significant improvement there. My health and fitness was degrading. I got into the worst shape of my life. Um, I wasn't, satisfied with my relationships, and I was looking at my life, and I was at 35 years old, and I was really I was disappointed at where I was. Like and social media makes this worse because you're looking around on social media and you're seeing other people hitting all these success marks.
Yeah.
They're posting pictures of their new house. They're posting pictures of their wife and their kids, or their husband and their kids, and it just seems like they were making strides in life. And then I was looking at my life and like, damn, where am I at? And that actually started to put me into like this depression where um, uh, I would go out and I would kind of drown my disappointment in myself and try to forget about it by going out and drinking every night and partying. And that was kind of the only thing I really looked forward to, was how I can self-medicate and just suppress
Yeah.
this disappointment that I was having in myself. And that turned into this vicious cycle, or a vicious spiral of me surrounding myself with the wrong people and not really doing much with my life. And then it all came to hit a brick wall where one day, and within 1 week, I got fired from my job.
Mm-hmm.
I got uh, fired from my relationship. Me
Mm.
and my girlfriend decided to quit. That we weren't the best fit, or I wasn't the best fit for her at that point in my life.
Yeah.
And I had to move out, and within 1 week, I went from having a comfortable, cozy life to all of a sudden, I had nowhere to go. I had no job, had no income, and I had to move back to Chicago with my mom.
Really.
And then that's where I was forced to start rebuilding my life all over again. Like,
Mm.
for me, I had to hit rock bottom for me to realize that I couldn't continue going down the path that I was going. Like, I had to figure out how to get to, like, I knew the worst part was I knew I was better than that. Like,
Mm.
I knew I had potential as a
Right.
person. Like, I'm a computer engineer graduate. Played every sport in high school and college. Everything came easy to me in life. Like, I shouldn't have been where I was. Like, I knew that I was destined for more than what I was producing in life, and
Mm.
that just burned a fire in me. Like, okay, Jarvis, how do you get off your mom's couch and
Mm.
start living up to the best version of yourself that is in there? And that's what started me to get really aggressive about what are successful people doing? What are the habits, behaviors? What are the routines and rituals? What are the things they do that give them an unfair advantage for them to achieve extraordinary things more than other people do?
Right.
And so I started reading and consuming as much as I could to understand the psychology of success. And so that journey kind of led me across many different books, but one of the ones that stood out to me was the Miracle Morning
Mhm.
by Hal Elrod. And so Hal had a very similar journey. He was on a very high growth path in life, and then he had this tragic accident
Mhm.
that where he had a near death experience, and he was in the hospital, and he was forced with having to rebuild his life. And it sounded a lot like my journey. Like, I hit my rock bottom. I had my proverbial car accident in life where I was shook up around, and I was forced to having to rebuild my life. And started studying the success habits of millionaires and billionaires, and he came up with this formula of this morning routine that sets their day on fire. And so I read that book and I started doing this morning routine.
Yeah.
And prior to this day, I had never woken up an earlier day in my life. Like, I despised people who woke up early. I never thought I would ever be a morning person.
Yeah.
I just, those two words don't even fit well together. Morning and person just and um, so I would normally wake up around 8 or 9 o'clock in the day. Uh, and when I read this book, he prescribed, he kind of gave all the science behind why waking up early is the best thing you could ever do for your life. And then here's what you do when you wake up early. So that day, I read that book in 2 days.
Mhm.
And then the next day I said, you know what? I'm going to try, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and just see if I can give this thing a go.
Mhm.
And that morning, I woke up at 5:57 with no alarm clock,
Wow.
hungry, motivated, and excited.
Wow.
And that was the first day. I was like, that was my rebirth.
Mhm.
That was the first day of what would be the next phase of my life. Uh, Ever since that day, I've woken up early with passion, purpose, and excitement. And it's all because of this practice that I kind of learned from Hal through the Miracle Morning. And since then, I've kind of gone on and developed my own practice.
Mhm.
Now I'm waking up at 4 a.m. But that's where my journey began. My journey began on my mom's couch after I hit my rock bottom, and I read that book, which ignited a flame in me to start getting up early, to identify my purpose, passion, and put a
Yeah.
plan together and pursue it aggressively every single day. and it all starts first thing in the morning. And I've been doing it for the last 5 years, and honestly, it's been life changing.
That is fantastic. It's just that that hero I hear comes out of you, right? Where you
Yeah,
hit rock bottom, has to move back home. I didn't even know you ended up back in Chicago.
yeah. I had to
You
move
moved.
back in with my mom as a 35-year-old man living on your mom's couch. Like that really eats at your pride, right? That's the and so it was that I needed that moment. I
I
tell
was gonna
everyone,
say.
you don't regret or resent anything that happens. Like everything happens for a reason. I needed that. Like if I,
Mhm.
if I hadn't had that moment, I would have kept just coasting through life with uneventful, meaningless things and not living in my purpose. So
Yeah,
I needed something drastic to happen to to force me into a cocoon,
yeah.
like this cocooning phase that I went through. And so yeah, that was necessary.
That those plateau moments are so powerful. At the time, they don't seem so, but when you do come out, when you get that rebirth, it's so powerful because it changed the whole trajectory of your life. It
Oh man, it's like
changed night and
yeah,
day.
it's night and day. I was turned out into a butterfly. I was this ugly sloth, and I think I feel like I'm a beautiful butterfly now.
What's awesome about your story, Jarvis, is that you turned it. You realize how powerful it was for you and how it changed your life, and then you coupled it and morphed it into a business that can actually help people do the same
Yeah, and
because
that
you
wasn't
learn
even the
from it.
original intent. That wasn't even the original intent. My original intent was after I kind of went through this cocooning and I refound my flow in life, I rebirth kind of went through this new identity, and I wanted to go into real estate, and so I was doing commercial real estate, but every time I talk with someone, they were like, "Man, what's going on with you? You just always got this gusto. Like you walk in the building with this aura and this essence, and like you've got this magnetic energy. Like, what's up, man?" And I would just tell them what I was doing. Like, "Oh, this is what I do. I wake up at 5 in the morning, and I meditate, and I visualize my goals, and I go for a run, and then and I would just kind of walk. I plan my day, and I do my
Hmm.
zero calendar, and it just lights me on fire every morning." And so enough people were asking me about what I was doing
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, well, let's all meet up, and I'll just start showing you guys, and start facilitating workshops. And so on the side, just as a passion, I would just every week I would host meetup groups. I started on meetup.com. I just posted on Meetup. Um, Morning routines, right?
Yep.
Anyone want to come learn the world's perfect morning routine that's going to light your goals and light your day on fire.
Yep.
And then so people started coming. I started doing them in my house. So me and my wife, I wrangled my wife in. She wasn't my wife at the time, but I wrangled my wife in to for us to host these meetups at our house. And so for the first couple meetup groups, people come to my house, and we just talk about meditation, or talk about the power of writing your goals down, or talk about the power of journaling, um, talk about how to plan your day for maximum efficiency and time management. And so every week there would be a different topic. And I just found that I was so passionate about this, and people were finding so much value, that then people started putting me on this platform as the expert.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just showing them what I was doing.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden people were coming to me left and right and asking me to go speak on different stages. Can you go speak about this? I didn't have a degree in any of this stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I for somehow now all of a sudden I became the expert,
Yeah.
just because I was so passionate in the way I talked about it. And so I started hosting events, large scale events. And um and then that enough people saw value in what I was doing, that all of a sudden I remember one day someone was saying, "Jarvis, you should be charging for this." And that was the first time it had ever been presented to me that, wait a minute, I could actually make money doing this thing that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And look, before that, I never really had an intention of this being a business. It was more just showing people how to live a more fruitful and productive life
Yeah.
with these habits, this morning ritual and this morning routine. And then over time, that morphed into, well, people would actually pay you to do this. And so that's how it became a business. But it started with the passion first.
Yeah. And that's key. Once you find your purpose, everything else falls into place.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Yeah.
people the people will show up, that you need to serve. So it's beautiful. And I'm so glad you went through that journey, and it's been so successful for you. Now, in the meetup groups, now you were just simply telling them the science behind meditation or journaling. You weren't actually doing those sessions. It was just informative.
No, no. So my philosophy is like get your hands dirty,
Okay.
and so we would actually do it together. So if we I remember the session I had on meditation. It's like, hey, this is kind of the why behind it. This is why it works, how it works. Boom. Now let's do it. And we would
Okay.
actually meditate together. So I would actually lead people through a 10-minute meditation. I'm sure people thought I was crazy. Um, but when we did journaling, we'd go behind the why and the science, and this is what it does and this is how it does it. All right, boom, here are some journaling prompts. Let's all do it together right now. Take 5 minutes of silence, all do your journals, then we all have some discussion. So everything I do, I facilitate workshop style, where we actually get our hands dirty and do it. And I think that's why people liked it so much and were so engaged with it, that and those events kind of grew to to be to the point that they had grown to.
Yeah, and it's applicable. They can do it now and go learn it the proper way, and then go off on their own and do it. Yeah. So, for what you've seen in your line of work, what do you think stops people from achieving their goals? You've hit your rock bottom. I've hit my rock bottom, and then that was the kick in the butt to get up and get things done.
Yeah.
In your field, what do you see kind of stop people from achieving, resolutions? We make them every year,
Oh
achieving
yeah.
goals.
Not being intentional. So things don't just happen. You have to make
Hmm.
them happen. People will come up with say, oh yeah, I want to lose weight this year, and then that's it. And then they put no other intention behind it, and they expect it just to happen. Intentionality is the key to life,
Hmm.
and intentionality is doing things on purpose,
Yeah.
not just letting the day happen, purposefully designing it for things to happen the way you want them to happen. And so that starts with you taking time every morning to set your intention. And the biggest problem people have is that they wake up running. They wake up and they run right into their day. They
Hmm.
wake up, I call it just in time. They wake up just in time to deal with the first thing they have to deal with. They
Hmm.
wake up just in time to deal with their family or their children and get
Hmm.
them ready for school. They wake up just in time for them to take a shower and go off to work. They wake
Hmm.
up just in time for them to get ready for a client appointment. They wake up just in time to deal with the world. And they never take time first to set their own intention. So what happens is they get stuck in the whirlwind. The
Right.
whirlwind is just the day to day of life. They
Right.
wake up and immediately they sucked into this typhoon of the whirlwind. The whirlwind is their emails, their clients, their family, their social media, everything that's
Yep.
demanding their attention. They wake up right into it, and then they never have time. Next thing you know, 5, 10 years have passed, and they look up and they, wait a minute, where am I? I
Right.
am nowhere near where I thought I would, because they've been sucked into the typhoon, this tornado that's taken them way off course, and they never take time every morning to design their perfect day, to design what's going to happen that day. They let the day dictate what's going to happen to them, and that's where they get stuck. And that's where I had got stuck.
Hmm.
Every day I would just wake up into the whirlwind, and next thing you know, 5 years of my life had passed, and I had made no significant progress. Matter of fact, I had gone significantly off course
Right.
of where I knew I should have been. And that was because now I know all I had to do was wake up a little earlier. So in my case, what the Miracle Morning practice taught me was wake up 1 hour before my first obligation.
Hmm.
1 hour before. So whereas before I would wake up just in time to get ready for work, now I wake up 1 hour before I need to get ready for work. In that 1 hour, the power hour,
Yeah.
that's where all the intention is set. That's where I meditate on my goals and visualize my day and how my day is going to play out, and then pull out my calendar and plan exactly how it's going to play out. That's the perfect day that's going to push each one of my goals forward. Like that 1 hour is the most powerful hour of the day, and that's where I set my intention. And then from that point forward, like I control the day.
Right.
The day doesn't control me anymore.
Right.
I've designed the day. I've set on, like I've set the law of attraction in front of me, and like now all the angels are paving the path to do the day exactly the way I designed it because I took that time.
Yep.
And most people get stuck because they don't take time in the morning.
Right.
They wake up just in time. They add that extra hour, that power hour. That's where all their progress and success will be built.
Solid, solid advice. And that's what I teach my clients. And that every entrepreneur that come on the show talks about is that power hour, the importance of it. Because you're planning out the day, but you're taking care of yourself first before you let everyone else in. When you open up
Yeah,
social media, you open up email, it really derails you to someone else's agenda, not your
yeah,
own, because you didn't set yours yet. And
yeah,
I find it instrumental to, as you say, I love that, to be intentional about it, to
yeah,
design it, to put in your calendar, putting that in place so you know what you're going to work on. But most importantly, Jarvis, is like you can't hit a target you don't have. Zig
yeah.
Ziglar said that. So it's important to set goals, yeah? So
Totally.
you got to know what you're aiming for. You got to know what you are going after. So what do you share with people who don't have a sense of what they want to work on? Don't know how to set goals. What kind of advice do you give them?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And I struggle with this because like I'm so passionate in because I know I have a goal. But then I have people that I work with and even have family members and they just squander
Mhm.
because they don't have a goal. And they even say, I don't know. I don't have anything that I want to that I'm pursuing. And it's like, I just can't even understand that. Like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you don't, what do you mean you don't have any ambition? You don't have any, there's nothing, that you want to work towards. Um,
It
and I
comes
just
down to
say,
purpose, I think. It's that lack of drive, that lack of purpose. Because if you're aimlessly wandering, it's because you haven't stepped into your calling, that
totally.
truth, that passion to actually start living the purpose. And the purpose essentially is adding value to other people's lives.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right. A lot of people haven't found it. Like and I used to, I can honestly say that didn't, I didn't speak this passionately until I found my purpose, right? Up until I turned 35, I didn't speak like this because I was squandering.
Mhm.
And I used to resent my wife because she did know she's known her passion since she was, in high school, and that is to help kids. And that's what
Mhm.
she's done for her entire life. She wants to provide opportunity for those who
Mhm.
otherwise would not have it, an
Yeah.
opportunity for success and to be fruitful in life. And she does that through education,
Mhm.
and not just education, but going into underserved communities
Yeah.
with kids who otherwise wouldn't have a platform to have a better life.
Yeah.
And so she's been passionate about that. And I used to always resent her, like, gosh, you wake up every day and you know exactly your calling, and I don't. Like,
Mm.
and so I used to be one of those that squandered. And like the only advice I can give people that don't know their passion, that don't know their calling, is that it doesn't come from just sitting around, stay active,
Take
always be moving,
take action.
take action, doing something. Because and maybe you take some action and you move in a direction, and maybe that ends up not being the direction, but at least puts it everything moves you closer.
Right.
So maybe you learn something from that. Oh, I know that that's not the thing now, but hey, I got something from this experience, and now I'm going to apply this to this new direction. Like, always stay in motion, and you'll eventually find what the path is. But if you're sitting still, you'll never get anywhere. You'll never get closer to the path.
Yeah.
So that's my advice for folks who don't know their purpose, don't know their calling, don't know what their grand design is, to do something. Like,
That's
whatever you
good.
feel it is, like experiment. You got to always be experimenting. You like surfing? All right, go out, start surfing. Go and see if that's what it is. See if there's a calling for you there. If that's not it, boom. Like, what else can you do? Like, as long as you're moving, you're in motion towards something,
Mhm.
you're making progress. But
Yeah.
if you're sitting still and you're just sitting still and you're not, like,
Life will
then
pass you by.
yeah, it'll
Life
pass you by.
will pass you by. Just like you. 5 years will go by and I'm like, what am I doing with my
What am I
life?
doing? Like, I wasn't happy 5 years ago, and I'm still not happy now. Like, when am I going to do something about
In
this?
2018, that's how I woke up. I was like, this is worthless. I even considered suicidal. I was like, there's no point in this. I'm not working a 9 to 5. I'm doing 16 hours. There's no point to life. And it was until, for me, finding my purpose came out of spending time with myself. That's one advice, and I think
Yeah.
you can allude to is actually when you have a friend, you to get to know them, you spend time with them. You know their quirks, you know what they like, you know what they don't like, so you don't interrupt or get them upset, get them mad. You get to know the individual. Well, it's the
Hmm.
same thing. We are so busy doing. We are so busy waking up just in time. That analogy you shared earlier. We're so
Yeah.
busy on the go that we don't spend that quiet time to actually turn inward, to
Totally.
be still, right? Just to be still for a minute. And that's what I think meditation allows. That's what that power hour in the morning allows. That's what the morning routine gives you, is that
Totally.
opportunity. If you don't know what your purpose is or what your goal is, what you are aiming to work at, that's okay. But please do spend some time away from social media. Do spend some time in meditation where
Yep.
it's just you taking some deep breaths for 2 minutes, or journaling. And I find
Absolutely.
it the biggest one is gratitude. You
Mm,
can start from anywhere by having an attitude of gratitude,
that's right. Yeah.
right?
Preach. Preach. No, no, you hit the nail on the head. So I think those two combined is kind of the magic formula. One, that's silence, because that's where you get inspiration from.
Yeah.
Like there's where you receive that divine inspiration. That's where you can hear. I say, in meditation or in that silence is where you hear the whispers of the universe. Like at any given moment, the universe is speaking to you.
Yeah.
But it's whispering. It's not this loud bang over your head. It's whispering. And if you don't ever calm down all the noise, you'll never hear
Yeah.
that whisper that the universe is trying to plant. And so, having that designated silence every day where you
Mm-hmm.
can hear the whispers of the universe, you can hear your gut intuition, you can hear that little birdie, you
Yeah.
can feel where you're being guided, but then to act on it.
Yeah.
Like you got to move. You can't just sit around. And I have a friend right now, they're very religious, and they're like, oh, the Lord is going to take care of it. I just sit and I just be prayerful and I just pray. And I'm religious too and all, but yeah, you can pray all day, but at some point you got to move. Some point you got to take action. Some point you got to say, all right, the Lord plant this little seed or this little idea was planted. All right, go. Can you go find a networking group around that?
Yeah.
Can you go and find and talk to someone? Who can you reach out to? Can you find someone on LinkedIn that you can ask some questions about it? At some point, you got to start moving
Yeah.
on some of those things. And that's only where you're going to find passion. It's not going to just hit you while you're sitting still. You got to take that inspiration and you got to start putting one foot in front of the other. And
Yeah.
yes, you might go through two or three or four different iterations of four different paths until you find your path. It's like what frustrates me is these people that's trying to get it right on the first try. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, I don't know if that's it, so I'm not going to do anything. I kind of want no, nope, that's not. You're not going to get it right on the first try. Like I'm in the fifth version of me, right?
Right.
I'm on the fifth different thing that I've tried. I've gone through four different careers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but at any point I was moving. I
Right.
was always moving
Right.
towards something. You got to move towards something. And eventually that will evolve into what your grand design is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I so agree with you. And you and I both go to the same church. We were both members at the Rock Church, and
Yeah.
I've heard the same. My parents grew up in the church, and it's always been, the Lord will take care of it. Just wait for the Lord. But it says it in the Bible: faith without works is dead. Like you
That's
really
right.
gotta take action. And
Right.
and TD Jakes said this thing the other day. I was listening to him. He says, God did not design the chair, the desk, but he did give you a tree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What do you do with the ideas? You're not gonna get everything laid out to you, and that's what you're alluding to with that failing forward. Like it's okay to
Yeah,
try, it's okay to keep moving and make progress and see what works and what don't, and then navigate it accordingly, right?
right.
And so you're gonna have these ideas, but know that every failure is an opportunity to
That's right.
learn,
And
to
everything,
grow.
and it's not every, I mean, we wouldn't even call it failure. It's learning moments. Everything you do, you learn.
Hmm.
Like, even if it's not the outcome you wanted, you got something from it. Like everything, every one of my past lives that led up to this, I used, it all built something from, that I apply today in
Right.
my passion. Right. And so sometimes all those little things you go through are building blocks that's preparing you for what will be your purpose, right?
To
Um,
contribute towards it, absolutely. Now we speak of it, we live and breathe this stuff, But a lot of people I find suffer with self-sabotage, that negative thoughts. I call them ant, automatic negative thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Amen coined that term. And it really is instant because we have 60,000 thoughts a day and 90% of the same ones from yesterday. So
Yeah,
we are expecting to be different than we were yesterday, and that doesn't work. And so for me, I know my change came when I changed my not just my habits, but I had to change my beliefs. I had to change my mindset. And you too, with all the reading that you partake in, you enlighten
totally.
yourself, you consume the right content, and then that changed your mindset. I still do affirmations every day. Okay. I
Yeah.
declare abundance upon my life. I declare that I am victorious. I declare that affirmations. The Bible tells us to declare that I am that I am. And
Yeah.
so on a daily basis, that's work for me. And that's only to eliminate and eradicate negative thoughts and negative beliefs, because those beliefs will direct my habits.
Totally.
They will direct my habit of drinking, or my habit of being lazy, my habit of not going for that run first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
The same, if my belief changes to I am enough, I'm lovable, I deserve this, then I will get up and go for that run, eat the healthier breakfast. And that's a domino effect into me feeling better. And then there's that loop. It kind of feeds right back to it, right? You have your belief, you have your actions, and then you have your results.
Yep.
So talk a little bit. I know you're fond of this topic as well. So talk a little bit about self sabotage and how we are standing in our own way, and how do we get out?
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it. I think that's one of the biggest reasons that people don't move forward, or they don't live up to what they were designed to live up to. Is that it's no external factor. It's all internal.
Right.
It's all mindset. Now and I love the way you worded it. It's the work.
Hmm.
That's the work. That's the work. The work is getting up every day and deciding that you're going to work on yourself,
Hmm.
to build up yourself, to build up your mindset. And the way we do it, that work is heavy work. It's, meditating, it's journaling, it's those affirmations that you talked about.
Yeah.
And then once you start to feel that feedback loop is, once you start to see a little bit of progress and success, then it feeds back and it's like, oh, okay, that works, so let me keep on doing it. Like, oh, the hard part is getting started.
Right.
Once you get started and you start to see a little, you start to see how much better you feel, how much motivated you are,
Hmm.
how you're looking better in the mirror because you're getting up with purpose every day and you're exercise. Like, once you start to see a little bit of that, then it starts to destroy some of those negative thoughts. But the more you sit still, the thoughts get louder and louder
Oh
and louder.
yeah.
Right. It goes back to, you got to move. You got to take action, because the more you move, the more the thoughts dissipate. Um,
Physical movement too, not just like
yeah.
taking action and finding some a goal to work on, but just like going for a walk or stretching. That Tony Robbins call it getting into peak state, because we're emotional being, and so we need to actually be in motion and constantly moving, to actually release serotonin so that we can change our state. We need to change
Totally.
our state of mind, and that's the fastest way to do it, is through that movement as well, but also taking action. Starting hard, as you say, Jarvis, is hard. And what I tell people is, you can do anything for 2 minutes.
Totally. And you know what, the movement part, like, I don't want to just gloss over that. I think that is the answer.
Okay.
Like, I go for a run every morning, and I can honestly say, like, I call it my activation. I get activated. Not only does it activate my body, which puts me into a peak performance zone, it raises your cortisol levels.
Yeah.
And so, from a hormone and from a science perspective, it activates your body. It
Yeah.
activates your metabolism. You start burning more calories all
Yeah.
throughout the day. You actually lose more weight by doing morning exercise versus evening exercise. So, from
Yeah.
a physical standpoint, it activates you. But
Hmm.
deeper than that, it activates my mind and my soul and my spirit,
Nice.
because I get a victory. And so, running is hard. I don't like it. It is gruesome. My joints hurt. I'm sweating. I'm grinding. But boy, when I finish, oh God, I'm like, yes, I conquered that.
Yep.
What else is there for me to conquer today? What
Right.
else? I'm ready.
Right.
I'm now. The negative voices aren't loud because I'm like the way you destroy negative voices by building up your own confidence. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you're confident in yourself, then no negative voice can creep in. Like the negative voice is trying to say, oh, you can't do that. The way you calm the negative voice down is by having a bank of experiences or achievements to go pull from, saying, you know what? Hell yeah, I could do it. I know I can because I did this thing over here.
Yep.
I accomplished this, so of course I can. Shut up, negative voice.
Right.
So the way you shut up the negative voices is that you have to have some sort of achievements or something that builds up your confidence to destroy a voice.
Absolutely.
So when you work out in the morning, it's the first achievement of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Now it gives you momentum and you carry that in, that confidence, that swagger into everything else. So how do you get started? How do you build momentum? How do you destroy your negative voice? It could be as easy as start your day with something physical,
Yep.
because now you build momentum. Now your movement is going. Now it's like, okay, well, I just conquered that. Let me conquer this other thing that I didn't think I could conquer. But yeah, I can do that. Now let me make these cold calls because I'm juiced and active and I'm
Right.
ready. Let me call these people. So what if they're gonna hang up on me? I'm calling them anyway. Like that first domino, like it
Yeah.
starts knocking down all these other dominoes.
That's what you call a keystone habit. It
Yeah,
affects, it
exactly.
positively affects every other area because you made that one decision and it's
That one
positive.
thing, that's all you got to do. Like you ain't got to
Yeah.
worry about all these, just worry about that one thing. Can you get up and move?
Yeah.
Because then once you do that, all the other things just fall in
Oh,
place.
I love this. I love that so much because now we just took it from taking action and accomplishing your goals and doing things to actually make it physical. And if you can do the physical piece, that's the easy part, and that will give you the more what do you call it? Softer things you need to work, soft skills. The more like
Yeah.
the other goals that you need to reach in your life. But the 2 minute rule is you can get up and go for a walk for 2 minutes. You won't actually, you'll walk longer, but the fact that you're tricking the brain to say, we're only doing this for 2 minutes. We put a timer on for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
we're doing this. You step outside of your yard. Next thing you realize you're 10 minutes in and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is not so bad. You do it again because the brain is designed to keep you safe. The brain is
Right.
designed to keep us comfortable. Anything out of the ordinary, it's like fight or flight.
Right.
This is not, we're not used to doing this, so we're not going to do it. But if you can start for 2 minutes, you got to optimize the starting line and not the finish line, because we overwhelm ourselves with thinking, oh man, running 3 miles, it's going to take me half hour and I'm going to be grinding and hurting like you said.
Right.
No, you're talking yourself out of it by
Right.
doing that. But if you optimize for the starting line and decide, all right, 2 minutes, it's all I'm going to do, and then you'll realize the power in that, because that's repetition. You can start over every day. You can start
That's
every
right.
day for 2 minutes because
And
you're
I do
building that
actually,
habit.
I use that like just yesterday. I went out. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna run down 1 mile back and forth, run down to the end of this
Block.
street
Mm-hmm.
block and back, and I ended up running for 30 minutes. So
Yep.
that actually it does work, playing
That
mind games with yourself
that's a habit
just to
trick.
get started.
Gotta get started. That's the mind trick. And in 2 minutes, because making it easier. Another thing I want to allude to, we're going over and I want to wrap it up, is setting your environment for success. I know you know about this. I know
Oh
you
yeah.
you teach this to your clients, and that's why you have the accountability piece. For even for a habit as running, is putting your shoes by your bed so that you see it. It has to be visible for you to, so your mind can be triggered to actually
So
take that step. And so let's environment, tell us about how you help using environment, how you help your clients get productive to use their environment.
yeah, with the very first and easiest thing you could do is not sleep with your phone next to you. So
Yep.
from an environment perspective, I don't have my phone in my bedroom. My
Yep.
phone charges in the bathroom, and for two reasons. One, if your phone is next to you and it's the alarm clock, the first thing you're going to do when the alarm goes off is what are you going to do? You're going to snooze it.
Right.
Like if it's within an arm reach, it's too easy to snooze. And so the first thing that we teach morning heroes is to sleep with your phone in another room, because it helps with two things. It helps with sleep hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
So your phone is, if it's close to you, your brain is constantly triggering your brain. Your brain is constantly being triggered to grab it, to check Instagram, to
Mm-hmm.
see what's going on. And so when it's not around you, just your phone's presence around you, it's a trigger for your brain. So one, it's destroying your sleep quality with your phone
Mm-hmm.
in your room. So clean. a big part of your environment is one removing things that's harmful for that environment. So I tell people put their phone in another room, or in my case, I like to put it in the bathroom, because when the alarm goes off, I have to run to the bathroom to turn it off, and now I'm already in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at my toothbrush, I'm looking at my face towel. I might as well just go ahead and get started for the day. So it's an easy way to ensure you get up moving first thing, and not moving and not snoozing.
Yeah.
And so that's the easy, that's the, if you can do that one part, then all the other things can start, can naturally play out. But just don't sleep with the phone next to you.
That's good advice. Yeah, that helps with productivity. So this is so fantastic. I really really love the insight that you bring on. So I have to get into it, which we talked about a little bit. So I want to know, how do you get up, dress up, and show up? What's your morning routine like?
So I'm up at 4, which my brain now, like, I've been doing it for so long that I'm actually up before the alarm. The alarm is set for 4, but I'm my brain normally wakes up around 3:45, before the alarm. Um, so I'm up, and so right now I live about a half a mile from my office, and so I'll go and do this little mile loop where I run to the office in the morning. So I come into the office and I do my whole morning practice here in my office. So I kind of sit, and I have a morning hero journal. And so
Mm-hmm.
this process that I've kind of coined, I made a journal, and the journal walks me through the whole 5-step process. So all I do is I sit down at my desk, I open the journal to a fresh page, and I kind of just walk through the whole routine.
Okay.
And so the routine is first meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I call it clearing the cache. It's how uh, and I do a different form of meditation. There are common meditations where you're trying to calm the brain. You're trying to calm it down. You're trying to suppress thoughts. Um, you're trying to hit this transcendental state where you're just being.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to meditate where I don't suppress the thoughts, I encourage them. And what I'm doing is I'm seeking inspiration, like I'm seeking a word, I'm seeking wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm actually inviting it in. And so I'll start with kind of a priming question, like, what does success look like today? And then I'll sit with my eyes closed, and I'm letting the thoughts stir. It's like a movie starts playing in my mind. And it's like I'm literally like a third person just sitting there with popcorn watching the movie. Like I'm watch it's like entertainment. I'm just watching the movie play. Like, so instead of suppressing the movie, I'm actually letting it play out. And most of the time, that's where my inspiration for the day comes. So for at least 10 minutes, I'm
Yeah.
sitting with my eyes closed, watching the movie that's playing in my mind. And then I start writing it down. It's like everything I'm seeing, I open my eyes and I'll kind of write and journal. Sometimes it turns into blueprints for my business. So
Mm-hmm.
I just redid my website 3 days ago. That entire blueprint came during my meditation. Like
Wow.
I was visualizing what success looked like, and it was like, okay, redo your webpage. Here's what it's going to look like. And then I opened my eyes and I started drawing it on the paper. So sometimes it'll turn into blueprints. Sometimes it'll be just a checklist. Sometimes it'll be me flushing out my vision. But I'll do that for at least 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go into writing my goals. I'm sorry, I'll do a reflection. So I'll write what are at least 3 wins that I had from yesterday, 3 things that I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And then if what could I have done better, and how would I do it differently? So I do this reflection, making sure that I'm growing and progressing every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I write my goals, and then I start action planning the day. So after I write the goal, I'll say, what do I need to do today to move that goal the furthest?
Mm.
And then I'll come up with kind of 2 or 3 critical actions.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to my next goal. I'll write the goal. And then I'll say, what do I need to do today to move that goal the furthest?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of go through that. Then I call it the zero calendar, where everything that I came up, I don't leave. I think a to-do list is where good intentions go to die. Like, to-do lists are very ineffective. If something is important, schedule it on your calendar. Just like it's a client appointment,
Yeah.
it's an appointment that I have with myself to do that thing that I said is most important at that time. So I schedule everything on my calendar. And when you do that, you'll find that there's zero blank space on your calendar. So it's called a zero calendar. you schedule every minute of your day with intention.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you've essentially designed the perfect day. If the day would be absolutely perfect, how exactly down to the minute, how would a perfect day go?
Mhm.
And so every morning I use this hero journal to
Mhm.
plan my perfect day. It takes me about 20 minutes, but by the end of that 20 minutes, I'm focused, I'm clear, I'm organized, I'm inspired and motivated, and I'll just fucking go attack the world.
Nice.
So that's
Nice.
my process. So I do a little exercise,
Yeah.
and then I use this journal to plan out my perfect day with intention and purpose every single day.
That's cool. You got the movement in there, but you're intentional, because that was one of your biggest advice when we started, is be intentional. Be
That's right.
intentional with your day and design your day to set up your environment. And so that is a great morning routine. It's making it you're successful with it. So I'm glad you shared it, because people can get some insight from that. So I want to know, how can we connect with you? How can my listeners find you?
Yeah, so themorninghero.com. As a matter of fact, this this journal that I just shared with you, this whole process, they can go to themorninghero.com, and that's where they can actually either purchase a journal of their own or sign up, and or if they decide they want to go deeper, they can become a morning hero, which that's essentially what the morning hero was born, because every morning I did this process,
Mhm.
and it felt like it gave me superpowers. Every morning I would do this structured routine, and I got superpowers, and I would go save the world.
Yeah.
And so it felt like this process turned me into a hero. And so that's how the name, the morning hero, that's where it came from. And so now that's what I offer other people. I offer other people an opportunity to become morning heroes themselves. And morning hero is someone that gets up every day fired up with intention and purpose. They're super dialed in and organized with their time, and they're more productive than most people are. They can do more by 9 a.m. than what most people will do all day long. And that's what a morning hero is. And now I show other people how to become morning heroes themselves. And so if you want to know how to become a morning hero, you can go to themorninghero.com.
Yes, absolutely. I will put that on the show notes and your social media handle, so people can connect with you. This has been fantastic, Jarvis. Thank you for coming in as another expert on morning routines and morning habits, on how to set the tone for the day.
That's right.
You have given us so much to think about, and I look forward to sharing this with the world. It has been a phenomenal chat. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, awesome. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please comment and tell us what was your favorite part, your favorite habit that you are going to try out for yourself today. Comment below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I will see you at the top of your best morning routine ever. Stay blessed.